Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the So I Heard podcast. If you guys are new to this, I'm KD. Hopefully you guys are having a good one. Now, on this channel, I talk about many things. Normally, I find myself talking about, positivity or just certain stuff I don't understand, and we have a conversation about it. I had my format where it was me and my girlfriend, Cheryl. It's not gone. It's just I don't want to make excuses at all for anything, right? If I have to record this podcast by myself, I will. And I'm not saying anything bad towards Cheryl or anything like that. It's just, sometimes we're working at different times, we're tired, she might have had a day where she worked and she got off of work. She goes to work so early, you know what I mean? And, sometimes people need that time to really relax. Plus, if I work the same day that we record any of these podcasts, I'm getting off late as well. And I don't want her up too late, especially if she has to go to work the next day. So if I have to record these podcasts by myself, I explained it a little bit in the last podcast episode, basically saying, I just want to be able to create whenever. And of course, these podcast episodes do come out on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And just want to keep everything going, want to keep everything smooth, Don't want to be here making these excuses like, man, you know what, just couldn't do it or whatever. I said I'm really going to try to stick to doing this and keeping these episodes coming out. Of course, it's something that we always want to work on. Some people are good at it. Consistency. Consistency is key in a lot of things to become successful. But not even just that. I really want to stick to this and actually keep a promise to you guys, but also keep a promise to myself. I want to become better with a lot of things. And I think that's something, you really become more interested in when you grow and you get older. That's what I meant to say. When you get older, at least I hope that that's everybody's goal in some sort of way, is to better themselves in any sort of way. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about today. One thing I wanted to talk about today is being able to call yourself out. I feel like a lot of times these days, a lot of us don't, you know what I mean? And maybe not just these days. I'm sure nobody over time really wants to sit there and look at what's wrong with them. You live with yourself on a daily basis, you and your thoughts. And with you and your thoughts, you might start to think about things in a certain way. You might start to look at things like, oh, I'm doing it right. You're not really looking at outside perspectives or thinking anything of it. So then when you have to call yourself out, you have to be honest with yourself. And like I said, it can be hard because who wants to admit their faults? I'm not saying, the majority of people go around thinking that they're just perfect. A lot of people do know that they have faults. They know that it's things that they need to work on. But there's some people that really don't notice the things they're doing wrong. And maybe not wrong, but, the choices that they're making or whatever. Some people just focus on themselves. I like to think that I'm not that selfish, but then at the same time, I have to sit there and look at life sometimes and be like, okay, sometimes I might be selfish. I might be focusing on what is going on with me, right? And I might sit there and think that, I have this going on that I'm either thinking about or, trying to do or whatever, but then it's other people in the world, right? One thing I always think about is normally, really, I'm not that person that thinks that other people are thinking about me, there's people that normally, as soon as they hear their name, they're like, oh my God, well, I was in their conversation. Like, what? You know what I mean? Or they're constantly talking about haters and what everybody else is saying about them. And it's like, I never think like that. I don't know why. I just don't focus on that. And, for the most part, I think it's a good thing because I see how people are affected so much by what other people say or what other people think. And it really gets to them, you know. It becomes a point where they think almost every interaction is going to be a negative interaction because it might have happened with a few people. You might have heard a couple of people talking crap about you. Now you kind of think everybody else is just plotting against you. I see those people. But to be honest with myself, I have to sit there and say that there are times where I might be selfish. It works out in some ways because it's like, oh, okay, if I'm being selfish at this time, maybe I'll be able to do what I need to get done, you know. But then there's other times where I'm just really like, damn, I'm not really taking this other person's feelings into account. And then, it kind of bothers you. I know that I'm a person that is somewhat, maybe not somewhat in some cases, nonchalant. So I don't really look at a lot of things and, I guess I care about it, but I just react a different way. Some people freak out and I'm normally just like, well, freaking out ain't really going to do nothing. Just find a solution. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not that I'm not thinking about the thing. There's a lot of times where I'm thinking about a lot of stuff in my head, but it's just I guess not really letting it show in a way. There's some people that'll just immediately, as soon as you get into a conversation, they immediately start talking about one of their problems. And it's like, damn, we were barely talking, and sometimes you don't mind, depending on who the person is. You're like, oh, okay, let me talk to you about it. Let's have a conversation about this. But then there's some people that really do just hit you with the negativity. And maybe you can't call it negativity. It's stuff that's actually going on in their lives. But at the same time, they just don't have a problem telling you their problems. I'm kind of different. If there's no real serious problems that I feel I have in life, but at the same time, yeah, sometimes stuff is bothering me, but I don't really let it show. And it's not like I don't know. This is another part. Something else that I do want to work on is being better with conversing with people, being more open and conversing. But still, let's stick to what we were talking about before. I still feel like me being selfish in certain ways can be bad, I try to be that person that talks to people and I'm like, oh, how you doing? You know what I mean? Oh, how's your day or something? And then sometimes I'm like, damn, maybe I'm not really saying it enough or something, or I'm not checking in on people enough. And, but then there's that battle also where I'm this person that's kind of like, well, if I don't see it happening, then I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? And not even like not even saying that damn, what is the saying? Not an eye for an eye, but when you do a favor for somebody and you're like, oh, okay, I'm not, trying to get anything back. I'm just doing it out of the kindness of my heart. And I'll hit people up or I'll talk to people and then, we'll have these conversations about their issues, their problems or whatever. And a lot of times I feel like I do listen well. There's been a lot of times where people have told me, yo, I like talking to you about these things because you make it come from a different perspective, or you're a really good listener or something like that, right? But then there's times where really in my mind I'm thinking like, man, I don't know what to say, And that's another reason why people will start to think I'm just being really nonchalant about a lot of stuff. But in a lot of situations, it's like, yo, if I didn't go through it, like, I don't really know how to respond. So Cheryl and I had a conversation this week, and this kind of happened, right? And she said, well, sometimes you kind of, not that it looks like I'm not listening, but I just don't really say anything. I don't give anything. And in that moment, really, it's like I'm really listening, right? And I just don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes instead of just saying, oh, well, I don't know what to say, because to be honest, in a lot of situations, if you tell a person, man, I don't know what to tell you, they sometimes are looking for more or whatever, but I guess that's at least something to kind of make a person feel comfortable, right? But for me, it's normally like, dude, if I don't know what to say, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of sitting there looking stumped. Like, how would I approach this situation to give you the right information that you need, the right motivation or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I don't know what to say, it's just like, I'm thinking about what you're talking about, and I'm trying to piece it together. And like, if it's something that I've been through, it's like, man, I can give you an answer instantly, and then we could just kind of, have that conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes I am misunderstood with some things, you know. But then again, that's where we come to the conversation of me vocalizing stuff more and being more open to just really dive into conversation. And I feel like in certain ways I am that expressive person. I'm the person that's having fun. I'm the person that's cracking jokes. I'm the person that's having these other conversations. But at the same time, there's certain things in our lives that we may not really focus on that much. And maybe that is with conversation with not with other people. I don't know, in a way, I guess, right? I'm really trying to put this together, but in a way, I feel like I'm cool with people. I see this relationship thing. We converse, we have our fun, whatever. But like I said, since I don't think about people thinking about me, I'm not always really thinking about like what your emotions are to the situation. And I guess that can be, of course that can be bad, right? Because it's not, I do take them into consideration at times, when I'm thinking about that, but maybe I'm not doing it that often. You know what I mean? And that's something that I need to work on. So being able to converse with people and get a little bit more information out of them to see where things are in their life, to see how they're doing. If there's an issue that comes along, then we can have a conversation about it and really, you know what I mean? Normally people come to me and say whatever it is that's bothering them. I do ask people, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a good day, whatever. But at the same time, I don't really get into detail. I guess people want you to get into detail when it comes to their life and trying to talk to them. I don't know. Maybe do I need to become better at conversation? I guess that's it. But at the same time, like I said, I really do have to work on that. I think these are things that really help a friendship, a relationship, whatever. Being more open to caring. And it's kind of hard to say that because I don't want people to think that I don't care. But at the same time, a lot of times during the day, I'm thinking about what I'm trying to do, what is the next thing. Sometimes I feel like my mind is moving so fast. And I'm just like, damn, how to do this? What are we going to do? Like I might be at work. I'm thinking about work, but then I'm also thinking about just a bunch of other stuff. And at the same time, though, I'm not saying that like it's chaotic or anything at all. I actually think I manage everything pretty well. So, just constantly trying to place pieces together. And, you know, like I said in the last podcast episode about these conversations are, of course, things that I want to know if you guys are feeling right now in life, right? I mean, I think for almost everybody, if not everybody, life is about constantly just going and placing these pieces and figuring things out. And, you know, that's what life is. You're living, you're growing daily. You might not even think so. I remember when I was a kid, right? I would come home from school. My mom would always ask me, "What did you learn today?" And I, you know, as a kid, I'm really sitting there looking like, "Oh, I don't know." And then she would be like, "You're at school all day and you didn't learn anything." Now, me as a kid, I wasn't thinking that deep into it. I was really just thinking, well, I learned school stuff, you know, but that answer isn't an answer you're going to give your parents. Like, I learned school stuff. So then you just kind of like, I don't know. In reality, you mean like whatever was at school, you know, but you're not really even trying to dig deep to give that answer, right? And then now you get older and you're going through life and all these experiences that are happening. And in your mind, you're like, damn, I really am learning things on the daily. It might not be something that's this huge bit of information, but you're constantly absorbing information all the time. So much stuff is going on. So you're placing the pieces in your mind. Not just about, you know, like any troubles or anything, but just, you know, you have the same 24 hours every single day. You're living with your thoughts every single day. You know, there's some things you might be thinking about, oh, I just want to watch a TV show. That still is taking up time. But at the same time, you know, I'm talking about really getting into thought and trying to piece things together and be like, all right, cool. This is life. How are we going to move to the next thing? Next thing, whatever, you know. And I think that's something that people don't really think about. Like, we know we're doing it. You know, you're going through life. You know, a couple of things that you thought about today that you remember, you know, that stood out. But I don't think people really get to the point where you're like, dude, you with your thoughts every single day. You have to place those pieces together. And it gets to a point where, like I was trying to say in the beginning, you do get caught up in what you're trying to do, you know, and you do want people along in your life, of course. So that means you have to make time for them too. And, you know, it's not a problem or anything. Definitely, if I want it, you know, if I'm in it, that's what I want. But I'm saying, like, you have to be more than just yourself. Sometimes it seems hard, man. Sometimes I really sit there and think like, damn, I'm not really giving attention to somebody else, whether it's like, you know, my parents, or whether it's, you know, me feeling like I don't really give enough time to my relationship for that day, or, you know, just anything. Or even like, dude, one thing that I used to do so much when I was younger was like, man, I used to be cool with so many people, and I'm still cool with a lot of people, but I don't really treat friendships the same way that I once used to. I'm not going to say, oh, like it was like I went through some crazy experience where I was just like, man, I can't trust nobody. It was nothing like that. But what it is you get caught up in life. I think that's all it is. You know, you're handling your stuff. You're thinking about your stuff. You planning out the next move. You planning out just anything, not even, you know, long term, just anything. Life gets that way, man. You remember when you used to go out all the time and you had a whole bunch of people you used to hang out with. And you hear it all the time. People say as you get older, your circle gets smaller. Of course it's true. But at the same time, you're like, damn, yo, like, maybe I do need to make more time for other people and who I'm cool with and everything. Like, I think about it sometimes because I'm like, yo, you're living this one life, right? You used to be at a point where, You had a whole group of friends and you might have had little issues with certain people. So yeah, they're not in your circle anymore, but those aren't the only people you know. And not just talking about your mother and your father, you got to also take an accountability. You got other family members, you want to reach out to. Sometimes you think about them during the day, but you don't reach out. You're just like, all right, well, I see them and look like they're doing cool or whatever. You don't even have a conversation with them. Think about it sometimes. Just some family members you used to be cool with, you ain't never even had a conversation with for years. Y'all follow each other on social media, but at the same time, it's like, do y'all reach out? Do you be like, hey, how you doing? You don't. Something you might have done when you were younger, when you felt like you had more time. And it's no disrespect to people, you know what I mean? And that's one thing. Some people feel like it's disrespect, but then at the same time, like I said, like I try to do it as much as I can, I guess. Maybe not as much as I can because I can try way more. But when I think about it, I'm like, all right, hey, let me hit them up and say, say something. Just making time for other people. And I don't think that that's a problem. I don't think that's a problem at all. And that's something I really need to become better with. But at the same time, really, I am that person that's like, well, I reached out before. Maybe they didn't get back to me. And it's like, I'm not forgetting it, but then I'm not holding a grudge. I'm pretty much just like, well, shit, I ain't seen you make the same effort. So it's kind of like, well, let me just leave it at where it is. I'm not that person that's going to keep picking and being like, oh, wait, hey, you ain't hit me up. I hit you up. Like, and then time passes on. They be like, man, we ain't talking so long. Like, it seemed like they making more effort to talk to you. You're like, well, shit, well, you weren't answering my stuff. So, I just left it where it was. Maybe they had other stuff going on in their lives. I think that's one thing we really do not think about also that I need to get better with is thinking about people in a way and thinking like, yo, they got shit going on in their lives. Yeah, I've told myself that a few times and, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I ain't taking nothing to heart. But normally I don't take stuff to heart, like I said, but still, you just want better interactions with people. You want to become better. So this whole thing was about improvements, but mainly that one part was about trying to converse and be more open with people. And, even if you're just being open with your own emotions or whatever, but all of this is talking about emotions, your mind, and you wanting to express stuff to people more. I don't do that a lot. I really don't. A lot of people look at me like I'm a damn mystery because I don't just throw out information like that. There's some people that I have met, and it's like the first day I met them, they telling me personal information already. And I'm just like, yo, hey, I don't even need to know none of that. I met you, now you over here talking about why you hate your baby daddy. Like, what? Ma'am, I don't know you. We're at work. And you don't want to be disrespectful, but man, maybe them people needed somebody to vent to or something. And I'm not saying don't be cautious of people that just out here talking too much because we already know they telling everybody's business. But yeah, I look at that even when I'm at work, man. When I first started the job that I'm at now, where I work, I was cool with a lot of people. We hung out and everything. We've even hung out outside of work and all kind of stuff. But then they all stopped working there. Something happened. They got fired. But anyway, after that, I didn't really get cool with anybody else that worked there. And so many other people, like, they kind of do stuff outside of work or, when they're at work, they're all chilling and having a conversation. I just go chill by myself because sometimes I'm like, yo, man, y'all get to a point where y'all just start talking about personal stuff. And I'm not trying to share that information. So I'm like, yo, let me just avoid this whole conversation. Then sometimes I'm like, damn, do I have one of them anxiety issues or something? But I don't think that's what it is. I think sometimes, I'm cool with having conversations with people. Sometimes I'm the most talkative one. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I peep people sometimes. I check out people sometimes and I be like, oh, you talking too much. You saying too much. You know what I mean? And not to be messed up, I'm not going to put anybody's name out there, but I remember the first time I really held a conversation with this one person, and immediately it was two people. It was two people. Didn't really talk to them like that. You know what I mean? Obviously, they already built some sort of friendship. So we all have this, we're talking about work, but then personal stuff gets in between, right? And then one person asked me about this other person's relationship, and do I think that their dude is cheating? And I was like, whoa, I don't know nobody. I barely know y'all. Don't ask me if I think this girl's dude is cheating. And then they try to throw out an example, and I was like, I don't know him. I don't really know her. And off of that first conversation, that immediately made me think like, yo, like, nah, you talk too much. How are you throwing her business out there? She didn't even say anything. Obviously, she didn't have a problem because she was looking at me like she was waiting for me to answer it. And I was just like, oh, okay, like, this is what y'all doing? Like, let me get out of this conversation. Because then if it comes down to it and then everybody else is throwing in information about their life, guaranteed you going to telling everybody else. So, yeah, I peep that with people. But at the same time, I feel like I can be a little closed off from people. You know, it's true. And, one thing that's funny is like, I have my audiobooks and I listen to my audiobooks and I finished a few good audiobooks. And the last one that I finished was The 48 Laws of Power. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever read that book, listened to it, whatever. But that book basically shows shady stuff. It tells stories of people that have pretty much done shady stuff over the years to basically succeed. Now, if we look at power, a lot of times we're like, oh, okay, well, maybe those people have a lot of friends or something. Originally, before you are corrupted by the world, when you're naive, you look at the world and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe, they really build everything with their friends. And not saying that people don't, but there are a lot of successful people that pretty much just ran over other people to get where they're at. They didn't have sympathy or anything. It was just like, I need to reach success. I have this goal. And of course, I'm going to have to, step on some people along the way to get there, right? And that's basically what that book is about. But in the same way, it teaches you about people that might be sneaky, that might be plotting certain stuff. And I can see how people get that mindset, because obviously it's just a book, it's telling stories, but people realize this stuff on their own. So then I understand how some people are just so closed off from others. Me, I don't think that I really am. It's just I don't dig deep to really get into your life. You know what I'm saying? Some people want that. Some people want you to show more interest in their lives. And I'm normally like, well, if they want me to know, they'll tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and of course, like I said, it depends on how close you are to that person if you really want to even get into those conversations. But some people just really want you to ask them questions and dig deep into their life and really try to get to know them. And a lot of times, a lot of people you see are just acquaintances. It's not people that you really consider. You'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's my friend. Like, we know each other. We're cool with each other, but we don't really hang out, I guess. I was about to burp. But yeah, you're just like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, we say hi. You say what's up. We might have a little short conversation. But other than that, it's not anything deeper, right? I look at that with people, man. I still know some people to this day at my age. And they have so many people that are in their lives, right? And it's like, yo, like back in the day, it was just like, I guess we were all chilling or something. I don't know. But like some people have a lot of fucking friends. And I'm not saying that like I don't have friends. Like, dude, I have people that invite me places and, like it's people I know. But at the same time, I'm talking about like some people roll with deep ass circles. Like, bruh. How do you make up that time? I look at some television shows, I'm like, they probably got like 7 friends. I'm like, damn, even that's a lot to have like close. Like you're really making time for every single person. Sometimes I'm like, bro, what? And maybe I just think about life differently. Like I'm cool with people. I like people. I like to get to know people. It's interesting, but at the same time, like I'm not digging deep into everything about you. And like I said, it depends on the relationship. You know what I mean? If you're closer with people, then of course you're gonna want to know more. You're gonna have those deep conversations and everything, but most people are, I think, acquaintances. But for the people that I really feel like do matter and I don't have these conversations, dude, there's times where I really feel bad and I'm just like, damn. And then I'll be like, yo, I need to hit them up. And then, you might get caught up in something of your own, but at the same time, like you're thinking about it. You're like, man, I really do need to make time to talk to these people, see these people, whatever. You don't just want to be that person that's just, oh, I'm dealing with you sometimes. Nah, you want to be good. You want to be like, yo, hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Y'all have friendships, that are building more and more and more. And of course, we are social people, animals, people are animals, whatever. Social. We're very social. In any type of way. Some people, they hop online and they're like, oh man, I don't really fuck with nobody. But it's like, dude, you're online socializing all day. You're just in a different form of socializing. And yeah, and you're like, you're not really alone like you feel like you are. And then, that's why I look at so many people. I'm like, dude, I see people sometime online post some dark shit. Dude, there's been times where I've seen people, and this is why I feel like, dude, sometime honestly, I feel like I can't be that selfish, right? There have been times where it's like somebody on social media, they post something and it sounds like some dark shit. It sounds like they're almost on the edge, like they're done with life or whatever. I have literally hit up some people and it's like I don't even really know them. I just know, hey, we follow each other, but we probably barely talk on social media. And I will hit them up and be like, yo, do you need to talk about your problem? I've done that for a few people that I do not know. So that's why sometimes I'm like, yo, maybe I'm not really that selfish. But then in certain cases, you can't help but feel that way. Like, man, maybe I just don't make time for everybody like that. Why do I act like I'm so busy? It's like, dude, I make free time for other stuff, but why do I act that way? I don't know. And I know I'm not alone. I see other people that talk about it all the time where it's like they just feel like, they just don't really want to be bothered with a lot of people. And it's not that I don't want to be bothered. It's just like, damn, a lot of times I feel like I'm so caught up in trying to figure everything else out. And that's something I need to stop. Because if I'm going to have friendships, I really want to build these strong, long-lasting friendships with people. And we gain our trust and, we grow and we're laughing through everything through the years and different stuff like that. I feel like I need more of that. You look at some friendships where you were younger and you might have thought it was that, or, you think about it now, like think about high school stuff. Like, hey, I knew something about them, but not much. But back then it seemed like we was closer. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's like, oh man, here I am. I'm Mr. Mr. Lonely or anything like that. Like, not like that. It's just like, dude, honestly, maybe I should start hitting people up more and being like, yo, what's going on in your life? Sometimes I'll be irritated at them questions. You haven't seen people in a long time. Well, what's going on in your life? You be like, damn, could we just say hi and bye? Sometimes you don't feel like it. But I'm saying if you want to build those friendships and I guess build a happier life in some sort of way, because they say more people around, the more the merrier. It's not just with saying numbers, as far as like, oh, okay, we're taking somebody somewhere, but also, they did a study years ago that said, well, maybe I shouldn't say, because I've seen a study that also said people that have more people around end up being more stressed. But it was something that said that when you make more friendships, it leads to more happiness and people live longer, because it's like, they're feeling, in the way, not to say it in a cheesy way, but in a way like symbolically being like, man, more love. You know what I mean? It's like it's healthy for you. More love is healthy for you. And yeah, there's a lot of people I love. There's a lot of people I do care about and everything, but I really don't reach out. I really don't get involved in everything. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think I really do need to work on. I really need to, because it's like, dude, you know, excuse me, sorry. But you know, like, people aren't here forever. You know what I mean? You're not here forever. Those people aren't here forever. You know, building great memories and laughing about it and everything. And along the way, yeah, you know, you're going to have some drama, but at the same time, don't focus on that, you know, focus on whatever's good and positive and, you know, those good, fun memories where you're like, damn, that was a good ass time. Those are some good ass days. I want to build that more with people. I want to get more into people's lives and be more interested in what's going on with them. And just basically trying to prioritize everything. You know, like I said, all of these thoughts and everything takes time, but at the same time, you want to become a better person. And I think with becoming a better person, you have to build better connections. I don't know, man. Maybe you guys feel the same way. I want you guys to hit me up on my socials more. And I've had a few people hit me up on my socials, you know, giving me input on the podcast and everything like that. But I want more people to hit me up on my socials to let me know how you guys really feel about these episodes and if you guys are vibing with these episodes and if these are things that you can relate to. Because all of these conversations, you know, this ain't like just a podcast where we're cracking jokes, but we're normally trying to talk about some real stuff. I want you guys to think in certain ways that's different, you know. And some of you guys might be like, yo, I think about that a lot. You're the one that's lacking. And that might be true. But then there might be some people that are going through the same exact thing as me. And they're really trying to place those pieces together, trying to prioritize everything. And maybe they just don't have those connections that they do want to have. My socials are normally left down below if you guys are watching the upload that's on YouTube. If you guys are checking it out on Red Circle, there should be a description section where I just post everything, you know, the names and everything for my socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Also, you know, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter is at, of course, the @ who_is_KD 2 underscores. That's Twitter. My YouTube is whoiskd. My Instagram is It's King KD, and my Facebook page is Who Is KD. Those are all the ways you can get, you know, in contact with me. Normally, I always hashtag my stuff whenever I post anything about the podcast or anything that I'm doing. So just look for the hashtag Who Is KD or look for the hashtag It's King KD. And I always have everything like that. I mean, I guess that's another easy way to find out about stuff that I post. And yeah, man, I want to know you guys. I don't know. I was just going to leave it like that. I want to know you guys. I want to build the connections with the people that are the audience, you know. Let me know how you like this podcast. Let me know if it's helped you in some sort of way. Let me know if you can relate to anything. And it might not be this episode, but you can even say, man, there was another episode. You know, just leave me some type of message, comment, whatever, and let me know. Because I'm really interested, dude. I'm not just trying to be stuck with my own thoughts. That's why I made this podcast, to talk to you guys about stuff that I'm going through or that's on my mind. But I normally like to get into that conversation and find out why you guys either agree or why you don't agree. And if you don't agree, let's get into some details about it. That's another reason why I feel like I converse with people a lot, because I like to have these conversations with people. Maybe I don't have it with a lot of people, but still, I like to have the conversations. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast episode, man. And if you guys did, remember, like I said, check out all those socials. Hit me up. Hopefully you guys follow or subscribe to this podcast and come back for more. great conversations, because I love making these podcast episodes, and hopefully you guys love listening to them. Thank you for listening. You guys are so dope. I'll check you out later. Peace.